Order. That means you. All right. The Gilded Age. America is prospering. America is prospering at home, growing influence around the world, becoming a global power, gentlemen, becoming a global power because of the explosion of industry led by those captains of industry or robber barons. So maybe it's called the Gilded Age because it seems so rosy for everyone. There's a lot of people that aren't doing this well. You've got all these innovations that's making life more comfortable for everyone. The things we take for granted, like indoor plumbing, they didn't have that yet in most places. Electricity, of course, they didn't have. Telephones, no. And even then, when they got telephones, it was kind of laborious, what you had to go through to connect a call from one person to another. But life is sure better in 1890 than it was in 1860, right? Before the war, right, Derek? Because of all the American innovations. And then we talked about what was going on politically. Politically, the word of the day was reform because people were seeing a lot of corruption going on. And they wanted to do something about it. So if a politician held themselves up as a reformer, they could become very popular. They couldn't just say it, though. They had to bring it. So Boss Tweed at Tammany Hall, you had to show that you were working against that guy to gain the respect of the populace. Or Roscoe Conklin with the Republican machine. If you stood up to these people, you would gain popularity. We talked about Garfield passing it on to Arthur because he was killed, and the Civil Service Commission being the big deal there. You can't just put people in positions that have no idea what they're doing. Create a kakistocracy. We know what life looks like in the 21st century when people are in positions and they're just wrong so often. They don't know what they're doing. Look what it leads to. Chaos in the culture and in the economy too. You got 100 ships sitting offshore in LA and Long Island, California. Just sitting there with all those products that people are ordering. And have people that have skill, ability. Okay, the mugwumps, remember them? Hey, whose side you on here? You're a Republican, you act like you're for the Democrats. Oh, we see your face on our side of the fence, but it seems like your other half of you's on the other side of the fence. Interstate commerce was the big thing for Grover Cleveland's first stint in office. By the way, Cleveland, as you figured out, was the first president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. Right? The first one to do that. He's the first president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. Picking up on laying down, Caleb? I don't think you are. Grover Cleveland is the first and only president. How about if I had that in there? He's the first and only president so far to serve 2 consecutive or non-consecutive terms. We'll see. Interstate Commerce Act, that was the big deal. See, this is no big deal to us. We're used to government regulating businesses. This is a new thing. It's America. Who are you to say that what Rockefeller can and can't do with his own business? Who are you to say what Carnegie can and can't do with his own business? This is a free country, isn't it, Caleb? Shouldn't the owner of a company be able to do whatever they want? Do you really believe that? You really do? Do you really believe the owner of a company should be able to do whatever they want? That the government should have there should be no laws regulating, controlling what the owner of companies can do? Do you really believe that?
There should be very little.
Okay, very little. So that's the thing. But this is a new thing, regulation. Regulation's always a topic in politics. One side of the aisle says, yeah, government needs to be more involved. They need to put a bunch of rules on those companies because, hey, those companies, if you don't control them, they'll take advantage of the little guy like the robber barons, right? And we got to keep regulating them, putting all these laws in place so that they make sure that we can make sure that they got the best interest of the community. Yeah, because you know what? We realize even as Christians that people are basically not good. And we realize that power, when you have power, you want more power. When you have money, you want more money. Oh, I'd be satisfied if I made this amount of dollars. Guess what? No, you wouldn't. Your natural instinct would, your natural inclination would be, hey, I made this much, I want more. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So most people believe that the government should have some say. How much? That's the thing. Jake's like, well, they should have a little. What happens if you go too far the other way and you regulate business too much? Now nobody wants to go into business. Now there's nobody to hire you. See, it's constant seeking balance, right? Life is not as black and white as you thought it was when you were 10. Now you're teenagers, you're going to start driving, you're becoming young adults. You're realizing, whoa, these things are very complex. Life's not as, that's not to scare you, it's to get you to start thinking, hey, I'd like to be involved in how to figure out these problems. Maybe I could be a future leader. Maybe I got ideas for the future that would help America run smoothly, right? Should there be regulations? Should the government get involved in telling companies how to act? I don't know, but yeah, because we know some people will just take advantage, right? So how much? Because if you overregulate and overtax, then people say, okay, I won't do business here. I'll take my business to another country that doesn't do it. Right? But that's where it all starts, right there, 1887. There was no need for it before. People were not industrialized. Okay. Benjamin Harrison. He is the grandson of William Henry Harrison. And he defeats Cleveland. Cleveland was pretty popular, but Harrison manipulated the electoral process. Serenity. You know that whoever gets the most votes doesn't win the presidency, right? You've learned that through the years. We don't elect a president on popular vote. And some people, every time it happens, they get mad and they say, hey, that's not fair. She got more votes than he did in 2016. We got to get rid of this electoral college. This is crazy. Really? Okay. Why was there an electoral college? Let's go back to the founding of the country. What are we called? What are we called? What's our country called? The United what? The United what? States of America. This idea that these states are going to keep their sovereignty, except they're going to agree to being in this union of states, really, in their minds, for very limited reasons, to provide for the common defense, to promote the general welfare, to get engaged in trade deals with other countries. We can all be protected. Never was the intention that we would have Washington, D.C., the capital of all of the states, become so powerful. The Electoral College is in place because if it wasn't, think about this. California and New York, the two most populous states. What if one candidate wins California by 4 million votes? So you're saying that the whole presidency is based on California. How's that make sense? There's 49 other states. California's got so many people that if one candidate won over the love and adoration of all the people of California, they can literally win the presidency just by winning California. Do you think all the other states would agree to that? No. And that doesn't make any sense. You need to appeal to all regions of the country. You need to appeal to all parts of the economy. Farmers and industrialists. Right? That's the point. Yeah. Yes. So even though Cleveland's a pretty popular guy, he won last time. Matter of fact, remember? How did he win? He's a Democrat and he got support of a lot of the... How could he lose? Right? You think, well, how did he lose? It wasn't like he got involved in scandal. He's known as a reformer. But Harrison and the Republicans were able to figure out, okay, if we win New York and guess what state? Ohio. If we can figure out a way to win New York and Ohio in 1888, we can beat them. And they did, because they got more electoral votes. Riley, Ohio's been like at the heart of it all for a long time. Matter of fact, that used to be the motto. When Mrs. Tosh was a little kid, he had a t-shirt that says, Ohio, the heart of it all. Because look, the country. Where's Ohio? This was like the torso. That's the heart, right? That's literally, they made a big thing out of that. Ohio, the heart of it all. We're like, right, here's the United States, right there's Ohio. So someone asked earlier, like, yes?
So when is your snow for?
Monday. Why is there, oh, the Bible test is Friday. Sorry. You know, I was looking at you like my student, not Mr. Bell. Someone asked, like, why do they always talk about Ohio in the election? Because even now, even though our size of the pie has gotten smaller as we lose population, still Ohio is a big deal because who is Ohio? We've got cities and we've got a lot of farms, right? We're like the Midwest. We're not West Coast people. We're not East Coast people. We're like kind of in the middle. So if you can win the allegiance of people of Ohioans, we're more of a cross section. We're more of a better metric on the whole country. Does that make sense? Not just people in California and New York, because it is a different culture. I mean, when you look at what they call flyover states like us, the big Hollywood people and the business stock market people in New York and the Hollywood people in LA, they look at us as, have you ever heard that term before? We're flyover country. Like, okay, we're necessary. We people down here, as they're crisscrossing the country in their planes and doing all their business stuff. Oh, those people down there, we do need to get their support after that. Those flyover people, they do matter. Well, Ohio happens to matter a lot, because historically, if you win Ohio, you win. 2020 is a whole different story, which we can't get into right now. But anyway, the $1 billion Congress happens under Harrison's administration because, hey, how do you become popular with the people? Offer them more stuff. The government's going to do this for you. The government's going to do that for you. Unfortunately, as soon as at least half the population realizes they can benefit from the government, oh boy, we're in trouble. I'll just vote for the person that offers me more. Is that the way to run a country? The Sherman Antitrust Act. Tell me where we ended up. Panic of 1893, right? It was the worst one yet. Remember, they didn't used to call them depressions or recessions. They would call them panics. Because the people that were in business were like, oh no, things are not going so well right now. Let's panic. I'm selling my stock in that. And they panic. They start to think it's doomsday. So then business comes to a halt. Not totally, but it slows down significantly. And when business slows down, we call that a recession, or if it gets really bad, we call it a depression. I think it was Ronald Reagan. I know he said it, but I don't know if he came up with it. That said a recession is when your neighbor loses their job. A depression is when you lose your job. See the point there? If you don't know what that word recession is because you learned what the Great Depression was, recession is when the economy is moving along and then it goes down for a little bit, but it only lasts for like a few months or a year. A depression is when the economy starts to go down and it keeps going down, and then it keeps going down, it stays down. So the length of time that happens, it becomes a depression. This is going to go on for 4 years. The economy is going to take a dive for 4 years, and it's the worst depression America's ever experienced up to that time. By the way, have you noticed there was a panic in 1873? Now there's a panic in 1893. You're going to learn that there was a Great Depression in 1933, right? Do you notice that the economy in America kind of goes, hey, everything's going great, and then, oh, things are not going so great. And then, hey, everything's going great. And then, what do they call that? 2 B words. Blank and blank. Anybody know? You ever heard of it? Boom and bust. Boom and bust. Why does America keep up with that? Why, or put up with that? Why as Americans are we okay with a capitalist system that has booms and busts, boom and bust, good times, bad times? You know why? Because the alternative, socialism, there's no boom. There's no boom in socialism. We're willing to put up with the downturns in the economy because guess what we know? Better days are coming. There's hope that things are going to turn around. We have to be careful with our business and with our money because we also know, hey, things aren't going to, like right now, stock market's through the roof, right? Trump, it really soared. It's kind of staying there now. Some people are surprised, like Biden's president, you hear all this bad news, and there's 100 ships off the shore of California. They can't get there, but yet the stock market's staying high. How long can that last? Some people are like, you better be careful because it's going to bust again, right? The bubble's going to bust. But you know what? We're okay with it because the alternative, the other way to handle our economy in a country is socialism. And here's what the line looks like in socialism. It's a flat line. You know what a flat line is? What's it mean if you're in a hospital and you got a flat line? You're dead, right? There is no hope. There is no coming back to life. Socialism offers no hope for a better tomorrow. Socialism offers, okay, we'll just survive. We'll just make sure everybody has what they need. There's no optimism and hope there. Right now, we should be careful. If your family has money, they should be careful how they invest it because it seems like it might go down again. But guess what? When it does go down, like it does periodically, probably about 10 times in my life, you know better days are coming. So this is what America looks like in the 1890s, Derek. You'll notice that even though it looks like America, and we've got kind of the shapes and the boundaries of the states. By the way, the latest 5 states that came into being were North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Idaho, and Washington. Oregon was already a state, and I believe Montana was too. These places aren't states yet. Utah, you see the shape of it, but it's still a territory. Oklahoma, still not a state. Why? What was Oklahoma originally set up to be? Come on. Yeah. Reservation from the Trail of Tears, right? Oklahoma was the place that the natives were sent. Hey, you guys got to go. What are you going to do, kill us? Oh, no, we'd never do that. But we North Carolinians are kind of, this is our land now. And if you don't want to coexist with us, if you don't want to just assimilate with us, then you got to go. So we're not going to kill them directly. But we're going to send them on this Trail of Tears. And we've got land reserved for you in a place called Oklahoma. So that's still the case in the 1890s. That Oklahoma is just a territory. Okay. Have you ever heard of unions? You know what a union is? Not the United States Union of States, but a union, a labor union. A group of people that when they work for a factory or a company, corporation, their voice gets louder because they're all speaking together. If Noelle works for a company, a large company, and she says, you know what? I think I deserve a raise in pay. The chances of her voice being heard by the guy or the woman at the top that is kind of the controlling interest in the company, she's probably never going to reach that person. But if Noelle and all of the workers that work for that corporation unite and they have certain things that they want to happen or demands that they have, then their voices might be heard, right? They'll be able to go to the owner. They'll have an organization set up and they'll be able to meet with, and here's a word for you, ready? Collectively, not just one person, but all of them, collectively bargain with the ownership. Hey, let's make a bargain. we realize that you need to make a profit because you need people to buy your stocks. By the way, that's often overlooked. We realize that you need to make a profit because people are investing in your stock. And by the way, those investments lead to them helping all those families too, right? So our families are struggling. It would be nice if we had a raise in pay. So they get this union, and they have a representative, and they go to the company, and they hopefully work out a bargain where, the union might work a couple more hours, but they'll get more pay. Make sense? That's the way it works. Well, these were never needed until post-Civil War because we didn't have industrialization. We didn't have these huge companies. We didn't have these factories that needed all these workers, right? So now, what happens? What's human nature? What happened with Rockefeller and Carnegie? The more money they had, did they ever have a point like this? I'm John D. Rockefeller, and I figured my goal is to make $1 million a year, and once I get there, I think I'll just stop. Nobody does that. You'd like to think you would, right? Like these basketball players or they make too much money. Why can't they just be satisfied with $10 million a year? Why do they gotta make 30? You wouldn't either. Would you? It would be crazy if you did. Listen, you would be nutso if you were making $10 million a year and you had a chance to make 30 million. You go, no thanks. You wouldn't do that. You know how we blame the athletes for making so much money? Right? Don't we? Don't we think it's crazy that they do? But who wouldn't take it? Oh, not me. I'm pure. I'm just saying. Okay, so if you don't take it, who's getting it? The owner. So you're the one performing, making all the people come to the game. Who should get the money? If you're going to say, oh, I wouldn't be greedy. I've made enough money. This team offers me 30 million, and I'll make 10 million should be enough. Who would do that? You might think that's very virtuous. But if they have the money to pay you, and you don't take it, then they keep it. That's the way it works, right? Who's at fault for the athletes making so much money? Who's at fault? There's an answer. Who's at fault for the athletes making so much money? We are. We're the ones paying. If nobody was going to the games or watching the games, would they make any money? No. We are the reason they make so much money. We go to the games, we watch the games. Well, how's that? Well, we watch the games and people sell advertising to the games, and the more people that watch the games, the more money the league can say, hey, you better pay more money to us to watch these, have people watch your commercials. So whenever they're advertising on the games, if you're really virtuous, if you really think it's crazy, then whenever Coca-Cola advertises on a game, you say, I'm not buying Coke anymore because they're contributing to this craziness of our society. These athletes are making all that money. You wouldn't do that either, right? So it's just the way the market works. Yeah.
Is it bad that they make that much money?
That's what does it sound like I think it's bad?
I don't know, kind of, you would maybe say it that way.
Okay, so let me make myself clear. Because the way I said it, I'm like, isn't that ridiculous they'd make that much money? So hear me out, David. Who's going to get the money then? Because the athletes are part of a union too. Who gets the money? Okay, so if I'm the owner of the team and I have $100 million and LeBron James is making 10, but another owner says, hey, I can pay him 30. So really he's worth 30. Or in general, okay, let's say no owner was willing to pay him 30 million. First of all, we don't think it should be 10 million, right? But that's like a small number now. So let's say it was $1 million. And no owner decided to pay LeBron James that $1 million, but the owners were bringing in billions. Is LeBron James being fairly compensated for his labor? If the owners are making billions and he's only making $1 million? Does that make sense now?
Does the fairness of money depend on how much the company makes?
Well, that's what that's what I'm setting this up for. That's what unions are about. Unions are set up so that, remember we said, I think it was in this class, that you had people working 12 hours a day for 7 days a week, right? And they could barely feed their families. Is that fair? Quote unquote. Remember what your parents told you about fair? Is that fair?
No.
Maybe not necessarily, right? So Noelle says, I need more money for my family. She's not going to be hurt. But if all the employees unite together, their voices might be heard. And they might get treated more fairly, whatever your definition of that is. So if you don't think it's fair that LeBron James makes $30 million a year, then you think it's fair that the owner gets that $30 million. That's the alternative. He wouldn't be getting the $30 million if they didn't have the $30 million. So whose fault is it that they have the $30 million to pay a guy to dribble a basketball? Ours. Not Noelle's personally, because she doesn't partake, but ours as Americans. Sounds like I'm against
My
it.
fault.
I'm not.
Actually, it's
That's where the
not.
market is. All right, we gotta keep going. Labor unions push for higher wages, 8-hour days. How about a weekend once in a while? Why do we gotta work 7 days a week, 12 hours? Can we lighten the load a little bit? Oh, by the way, have you come down from your ivory tower and walked into your factories and seen how dangerous it is for the workers in your factories? Do you know how many people have gotten injured, maimed by the machines in your factory? Come down and take a look at the working conditions. Can we stop this ridiculous making 12-year-olds work 12 hours a day for very little pay? By the way, Bella's like, that was a thing. I think sometimes when you learn about this stuff, you get more indignant about the kids working 12 hours a day than you do about slavery. Like, we like to think if we were living back then in 1850s America, we'd be like, oh, I'd be so against slavery. I'd be fighting all the time to free the slaves. Would I, or would I just go along to get along? Because, hey, it's not affecting my life. Child labor. Oh, I would have never, I would have been protesting every day that they're making these kids. It was kind of like an accepted thing. And the unions were like, we got to stop this. Some people say the unions were only being so virtuous because if the company couldn't hire a kid to do the work and pay him less, then they'd have to hire another adult and pay him more, right? Yeah.
Did they force kids to work, or were they like?
Okay, so it wasn't forced, but what do you mean by forced, David? Here's my family. I have a job, and I make very little money. I have 4 kids. My wife, back then, it wasn't as, the traditional family. It was usually that the man is the quote-unquote breadwinner. You ever heard that phrase before? And the wife's nurturing the home and taking care of the kids. So I've got a 12-year-old young man in my house. We're barely making it, or some days we don't know if we're gonna have enough food for the next day. Johnny, you gotta go work at the factory.
That seems right then, doesn't it? If it's for the whole family. Like if the kid can work, I don't know.
So you think that a corporation, because we live in America, land of the free, my business, I should be able to do what I want, that they should be able to hire 12-year-olds. Okay, how about 10-year-olds? 10-year-olds okay, or are you gonna stop it at 10 or 12?
Depends on the work.
Oh, it depends on the work. So forget their education. You're gonna quote unquote make them work in a factory so the family can have enough to eat.
What if they don't have enough money to pay for education? That's fair.
Public education.
The kid should go to school.
What if he's not a good student?
If the kid doesn't go to work, family might not have heat in their home, enough food on the table.
So that's the parents' choice.
That's the parent's choice, okay? So anyone that is not as skilled as you, smart as you, lucky as you, blessed as you, to HE double hockey sticks with them. Is that really what you think?
Wait, say that again?
He said that's their problem, that's their choice. So the person that doesn't have the skill, the brains, the whatever you have, connect with them. Hey, that's life. Life isn't fair. Free country. Figure it out. Yeah.
If the kids had to work, like, were they allowed to choose, if they had like an option?
That's what I'm saying. They weren't forced to work, but when you say forced,
Yeah, no, I mean like,
you have to help your family.
yeah, I mean like that, but like if they were to get a job, like, not that they didn't have a choice, but they would feel guilty like not working. So did their parents just like say, oh, like you're gonna work here, or did they like have a choice? Like where
Like
they're
which factory to work in?
Yeah, like, or did they just put them wherever?
From wherever, right? It wouldn't be their choice.
I don't know if they had like.
Well, of course they might. Yes.
I think it would depend on the family, wouldn't it?
Go ahead.
Like, what the family's belief system was, like how they feel like they should, like. choose.
Okay, but no matter what people, I don't know where you're getting at, but if their belief system was my child shouldn't work, but the child's not eating, it might change your perspective about how strongly you're going to hold to that belief that my child should be educated and not work. I'm giving you extreme examples because in some people's lives it was that extreme. Yeah.
If the child had to go to work so the family could eat food, is that then wrong with it?
Am I saying it's wrong for the child to go to work? No, I'm saying what the unions were saying was the system's wrong. Something's wrong. Something's not right in this land of the free and opportunity and prosperity when you've got so many people prospering in this gilded age, but yet on the other end, you've got so many people suffering. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, like, is it because they didn't want children working in like factories because it was too dangerous of an environment, and so they would rather have them working.
Well, that's part of it
jobs
too.
or something?
Because of the unsafe working conditions, putting kids in that position is even worse. So it's a bunch of factors.
And was it also like because of like they had to work like the same hours and stuff as like the men?
That's part of it. Listen, I hope what you're learning at your young adult age here, coming of age and becoming young adults is, wow, life is pretty complex. So not to scare you, life isn't black and white, right? Right? But to inspire you that, hey, I kind of do want to be a future leader. I want to be part of the decisions making here. Like, I think I kind of know Mr. Franken. He doesn't believe the government should be too involved, but yet he's sitting there for 10 minutes arguing for the government to get involved or unions to get involved and help people that, like, does that sound like Mr. Franken usually talks? Because life's not black and white. Like, if there was no government, how would human beings act? Are we good or not? No, we're not good. We'd be greedy, you know. You pray that all the people would be good Christians and they would all be just trying to live and glorify God, and there would be no need for government at all. The fact is, it isn't true. So when people have power, they want more power. Generally, that's human nature. When people have money, they want more money. And greed begets greed, and people tend to think about themselves. They are selfish. So the unions, I gotta get going a little bit. The unions, I'm glad we're having this conversation. The unions were formed to regulate, to try to stop the owners from just taking advantage all they can, because who's stopping them? There is a hesitancy. That Interstate Commerce Act, Americans believe in freedom. We are very hesitant to limit what companies can do. We don't want to do that. We believe in individual liberty, and we believe that a business should be free to operate and to prosper and to make a profit. We believe in all those things. But to what extreme? Unions were set up in the beginning to try to make life safer and make it so that those at the other end of the spectrum could survive without their children having to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah.
Is that kind of what started a big amount of inflation in our country? Because,
Well, inflation goes up and down.
I mean, if everybody started making more, then things are just gonna cost, and the dollar's gonna be worth less. So like,
I understand what you're saying, but it doesn't necessarily work out. All right, now, the other side is gonna say this. The people that are against the unions are gonna say, oh, you guys are acting like you're all virtuous. Because again, like slavery was accepted way of life, child labor is accepted way of life. You're just saying this because you don't really care about those kids and their unsafe working conditions. You're just trying to make it so that you can make more money. I'm just giving the other side's perspective. But you're not so virtuous. You know, we live in a society today that people love to virtue signal. They like to say things that show the world how much they care about others. Is it real or not? Well, if the unions are formed because they think they're being unfairly treated by the owners, and the owners are set in their ways, there's probably going to be a clash. There's going to be a big clash happening in the last part of the 1800s between owners of corporations and labor unions. And people are going to die. They're going to have protests. They're going to try to burn stuff down. People are going to get killed in the violence by the unions trying to assert themselves and get treated better, and the corporation saying, there's only so much we can do if we lose profit. Again, what's the other side of it? If the corporation doesn't make a profit, you got no corporation. See, everything's so extreme. Everybody thinks it's extremes. We need balance. Having said all that, it sounds like I was arguing fiercely for unions, right? I'm not a fan of unions in 21st century America, because what happens, like everything else, starts off with this virtuous idea, and guess what happens to those organizations? Same thing happens, they become like corporations. Trey, if we can convince everybody, if we can be the salt and light and convince everybody to be Christian, we wouldn't have these problems. Oh my God.
You want to hit him on what we
Maybe the first one on my team. Hey, it's your birthday. Queen. I win.
Yeah.
Union.
How old are you?
Go.
Mr. Freeman. How old are you?
72. How do you feel about
Let's go seats. What?
How do you feel about
I already talked about it.
I want to talk about it.
Okay, listen, you need to get in your seat. I've got something I got to
Just
attend
say
to.
we abstain.
Mr. Swendelman will be over here shortly, and hopefully I'll be
Why?
done with what I got to attend to soon. But you need to be seated and quiet and
Mr. Swenson, gonna be-
cooperative.
Is that our homework?
That's what you're working on while I'm gone. Listen, if you get done, work on something else, not cause problems for whether it's Mr. Swenderman or Mr. Chapin that's holding the fort until I get back, but make sure we're working. This is review of everything that we've done the last couple days, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. It's continuing with what you did yesterday, so page 115 and 160. Yeah. I hope.
Are you okay?
Yes, there's nothing to worry about.
I'm worried. I'm Franklin, where are you going? Don't leave. It's not a question.
Oh,
I
I'll
said,
go through it.
Mr. Franklin, don't leave.
Now look, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
have
do.
questions that are not to be asked. What is that message? Are you ready?
What is it? Hey, everybody, did I get a Hoya?
Max, shut up.
You are
Not cool.
Sadie, you can't bully Max. Always bully her.
You said I can't do it. He's not cool. No, I can't.
No, no. You can't bully people, Sadie. That's not. You're all fixing it. Go sit on your seat.
Silence, children.
You're all. Hey, Sadie, when you took the paper last year. You got the same. Yeah, you got the same paper. No. Yes, you made the same point in your last statement. It's no better. It's just saying murder.
No, it's I need more
It's not at a certain age. But whatever.
Thanks, Joe.
We have to do that one.
Maybe you're right. We're in authoritarian.
Good.
Yeah. Sadie, you're gonna see.
Probably the most mature in here.
Hey, no, Carly.
There's half the class who are already violating the rules. You're not supposed to be talking at all. Mr. Beckett, I got the homework done the other day. Okay, I'll get it when I get back. Thanks. What's up? Oh, what's that? Is it your birthday? Oh, for my birthday? Sure. Ryan. Ryan.
Happy birthday, Mr. Drake.
Oh no, that's an empty teacher. Oh no. That's a real shame. High five. Teacher.
Oh, Devil we're supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's
great.
115.
Little Deborah's the big Deborah.
I'm gonna do what? I don't know. What? I literally don't know.
Has my brother been behaving? If he's quiet at school, he's bad at home. He's like super.
Whoa. So delicious.
Guys, stop talking.
No.
Whoa. Makes me happy.
Thank you. Why do we celebrate Mr. Frank's birthday
Every day.
Each of us can bring a different snack and every
What if
day.
tomorrow we celebrate Mrs. Post's birthday?
4 days later.
Mrs. Post said this is her birthday month. She calls it Jen-tober. Yeah, that's her first name. That's a good idea. No one asked. Oh my goodness.
Make the joyful noise. It's not cold, not warm. You can go to school like a weekend on October. February?
Yeah. January and February are like the 3 months. So it's raining all the time, nothing really good happens, it's cold. And it's part month is, well, Monday, Tuesday, I have don't worry too much. April 2nd, so because we don't have
January and you're wearing like a sweater and then you're
No one. Oh. Yeah, I can tell. It's you. What do you think, son? Lee, do it. Lee, do it. I just got it out.
Mom makes fun.
I'll take it.
I don't even like. Oh my God.
I have like my best friend.
He's not funny.
Pretty good.
You weren't thinking of
Right as silent for What?
I believe if you don't finish
Mario?
Not sure. That's part of the homework.
Is that Mario? Mario? Like this one. Yeah. Yeah.
What is that?
Can't breathe.
It's you. I do know CPR.
Mario's at.
Oh, you know CPR?
I'm certified.
Me too.
You're not certified.
I'm not sure. I know CPR though.
We're not gonna eat that.
I did it in Boy Scouts.
believe that.
I feel like I don't.
There's some water. Hey, Mrs. Boyd, can I get a drink of water?
Why do you think I don't do Boy Scouts?
Did you say bacon grease? Like from that brand? I said they make you their Yes.
But no, I already did. Oh, that was good. No, I don't understand. Why would I want to do that? That was later.
You don't have to do
You can
that.
ask.
I want you to show me your work. I want you to show your work. Your work. I really, it's hard to find this. Come on.
Well,
you can go to the next room.
You have your work on it?
No.
No. Like, why they make it? I mean, technically, yeah. Let's see. What? What'd you say about me?
Said you're a weirdo.
But I'm good enough to admit it. I am sane enough to admit.
Yeah, when I'm
So everybody nothing wrong. I'm actually trying to 15 squares. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, 15? Yeah, I'm seeing my. Oh, my goodness.
You get a
No, I just have like whatever.
Look, I got all that done.
Wait,
No, I haven't. I've totally done. I've totally done. I've done like. I've done like.
I got a negative.
Maddie is not dating my brother. So you have the short worker. Literally showed it through the Bible.
Milling out.
Yeah. Remember, if there's friends.
I've got it.
Yeah. So the 16, that's what. Yes.
Oh.
Say what you mean to say.
Exactly.
Is it just 26? Fourth dimension.
Fourth dimension.
Anything that's not something you already know is the fourth dimension. Actually, your head takes probably
Things
Hold on.
He's the complete opposite, Max. So you can anytime yet? I have to do
maybe 12.
I'm not gonna reach back bio. No.
I've known this.
You guys you look like yeah, it's kind of like you guys look exactly the same. Not like
I mean, they kind of look, but not as much as
I can set
you can tell them apart.
Yeah, that's no, this is Pauline.
Pauline Palmer.
So did it work?
check your solution.
Oh, you landed on a rock.
Just try your solution. So you get like 6 value points. I will. No.
Friendly friend day.
Oh, Matthew B.
Hey, dude.
No.
You can't.
Liam, you good? No. Liam, you good?
No, not. They're having a cardiac arrest.
Just have to go.
I need to ask you questions every day.
Don't play this game. Like, invite you stuff every time.
That's a million.
Cindy, do you know how to
So
help
bad.
with cardiac arrest?
Yes.
Honestly,
I am certified.
Okay, so CPR cardiac arrest? Like CPR when
I got
I'm asking you, what?
Please say it again.
Do you do CPR when they have heart attack?
Bro, can you connect to the worldwide internet?
Matthew, were you ever happy?
Like I can do CPR, choking.
Yeah.
Resting, all that.
Like, so CPR, what do you use that for?
I don't even know how to.
It's really hard. I can't.
Like choking, heart attack.
And then, yeah, I did a second. I'm not certified by the No, I have my little heart because I'm certified. Does she have red hair?
What?
I'm
Transformers. I'm not participating. Gotta be like, don't use that margarita. Oh, I thought you were gonna write on that piece of paper.
Excuse me.
I'll leave him alone.
Oh!
Wow.
No.
Laughing about. I'm gonna put over here. I'm talking more about.
It's really horrible.
No, better you
Ask like a Mr. Howell. I wasn't talking.
Micah, stop.
I agree.
Yeah, the south.
What?
Oh, it's the week.
He is like number one.
No, the Nintendo Switch is honest.
And,
Yes.
what
is getting on?
What's wrong with you? The PC is the best one. So many things.
Yeah.
My mom said like Nokia Sounds like the issue.
One blue. We're red then.
Yeah.
Like
What?
Yeah.
It's actually being smart.
It's the best.
Like not to get.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because the five, you wouldn't actually ask that.
I was gonna say that.
I think this is factional.
Because it's
Okay, so what's up one is one.
Oh,
Oh, no, I wish.
Hey, what is divided by one?
Remember, it's a house price. So it's big.
Great.
He's like skip
Let me see it. Stop. I ain't gonna check it.
6%.
You're like
Put that away.
5. 4.
No, philosophy is 4. Actually, I've been in but 7.
Like the other 8.
I've done athlete. Check it out. I'm on 34, sorry. Well, I didn't know you guys said that. That's nice. Oh, no, you're not. Good. Oh, I see it.
I'm still waiting for it.
Oh, that makes, okay, I get it.
Just so I can't end up. I feel like she's not that much, except for the hours. Guys, she's not upside down. I use Disney. Or just use
When we I know what a dimension is. What are you talking about? Go back to preschool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we invented a new time travel, and now all the kids are in that. I'm taller than everyone.
Yeah, George, that's not for me. Really, I don't know. I know.
Not with preschool.
Oh, the happy birthday I saw now.
Well, you went to a lot of preschool.
No.
Happy birthday sign.
The native dimension is country music and it's not.
And who?
That is blind if this was born blind, they would have never seen it. Yeah, so what did they see inside the
I would not.
Yeah, you'd be born and you wouldn't see anything, but you know that people could actually see it. What if you were born blind? Yes. if you never contacted anyone, you set the rules, like, you would never. I did yeah, I walked into.
But it's really fun because I'm really vigilant when the plane jacks outside. So, you know, I just bring them in case I'm.
No, I'm just kidding.
So, everybody somehow, every.
It's been like 100.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, they do.
Not 700. No. It's big. Selling a house. Oh, Kathy, where? No, that's Avengers.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, we had just now for the pop.
There's no.
Okay, I'm gonna skip all those. Toby Maguire. Stop.
I watched,
Come home.
oh, dude, Nick Brown.
And then that number. Oh my god. Oh, yeah.
6 because that's what she has.
Oh, no, it's divided.
That's times 6.
not know? That makes me like divided by
So the next day again, and then bought us again, and then they started. What? That's what happened with Frozen. That's what happened. Recheck.
Who added my No, someone added my Who went through some? So disrespectful with their and they're skateboarding.
Lunchtime.
You is not fresh.
I went to a shower. And Ellen started to say that if my microphone can't count it, what? I broke my ankle and I prevented. Well, not broken, but like fractured, like
have heat, or I don't know. I know it works.
You know about.
No one's proud of me, Max.
Oh my God.
Okay. Max, look at your homework. Max.
If you don't finish, this is homework.
Where's Mr. Franken at?
I had a meeting I had to run to. Do you know if there's another class that comes in next? What is? Okay. So no one else is coming in here? Oh, interesting. I don't know, but I have math with Mr. Schwendeman.
It's like happy house dead dollars and like cupcakes.
Not here, not here.
He totally punched the teacher. He punched the teacher.
Jack. Right, Sadie. He's the best. See,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Josh, you're dating Lydia. I mean,
So?
if he's happy with you, that's great.
Yeah.
That's the paper on I just really want Lydia to stay. No, okay. And then yours. Wait. I'm too high. Is it much higher? From that last one, yeah. Is it 64,000? No. 350 times 2?
Oh. Maybe. I have to get a pencil and figure that out.
It could be. You're helping me out a lot, Mrs. I'm just calling Mrs. Reed. She's also stressing me out now. If you get stressed for lunch, it's okay. It's your key because I want it. Which one is it? I think it's 64,000. Times 2. I think that's more.
Okay. Because two of your kiddos are out, Abby, when it's time, do you want to do the pass out of the paper? I'm not sure where. You have to ask Mr. Franklin about it. I know he copied it and everything yesterday, and
That's
he
my-
said he left it over here.
I
Wait,
always-
Gio's here?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Gio, were you on the absence slip this morning?
Yeah.
Okay, but you're here now, so that's good. Okay, guys, I need everybody to pick one of these papers up, please. And then I'll be calling out your names. I have another form for you. Daniel in here yet? Evans out. Daniel, here's your paper. Gio, here's yours. Victoria.
Oh, yeah, are you from our in here? No. Oh. Oh, you were coming from work? Yes. Okay, I have in this series, so, yeah.
Okay. Gio, Victoria, Kaden, I saw you. Where are you? Ryan. Levi. Joel. Okay, Jake. You're gonna get very good news right here.
I am?
You are. I'll tell you why in a little bit. Oh, wait. No,
Is Jake gonna graduate?
I will tell you this. I gotta change one number. I noticed one thing's wrong on there. It's still good news.
Okay.
It has to, let me change it. I noticed when I had somebody write something, they did write a number wrong. You're still gonna be where you need. Landon. Guys, I have to go back and check this. Abigail. Abby. Hey, guys, I really think when these numbers were transposed, there's a mistake on them. I'm gonna go back and I will get back with you because I'm looking at it, it's like, something's not right on here, but I'll tell you for sure. Luke is out. Sophia. Luke's not here, is he? Oh. Bill's out. Drew, are you here? Robbie. I'll tell you in a few minutes. Anna. Evans out. Okay. Here, Lou these. Did everybody pick one of these up? Yeah, he's gonna go with this today. Guys, anybody didn't get this form? You should have 2 pages today.
I'm so proud. Wait, what did it mean? Did you get Drew? Oh, I got that.
You have that? I don't know why I had that strip. Fun. I used to teach that. I like it.
Jake, what did you get? I got 23. Total? Yeah. 40. What? What did you get, Gio? We got 40? No. I got 2. Wait, what did you get?
Okay, guys, should I go out of order since everybody's real interested in that? Look at your notes. Look at your notes. Go down to point 3. Like I said, I do think I actually have somebody write a conversion in. For some reason, I think one of the years the conversion is wrong. I'm going to go back and I'm going to look. State of Ohio puts out a conversion for us, and here's how the conversion works: is you take the test, I take your they call it your standard score, and I convert it to 5 is the highest, 1 is the lowest in every category. And when I do the conversions, if you got a 5 in everything, you could get up to 35 points. State of Ohio says you only need 18 to graduate. There's 3 components of graduation. You need at least 18 test points, but you also need all of your credits, and you need your community service hours. So you really need 3 things, but this score, if you were here all of the years, you've got your numbers. if you transferred in, if you homeschooled, your number's not where it needs to be yet, okay? Everybody has one more test to take. Now, some of you, when you took algebra a year early, like Drew, I know you're one of them, you don't have an algebra number on there, is that correct? Yeah. So technically, as an 8th grader, you would have taken the algebra, but you didn't take it, so you have no points there for it. What I could do is I could look at your Algebra 2 score and give you that credit for Algebra 1. It's something I'm going to have to do. But you're going to take, even though you guys have the points, to me, the pressure is off of your shoulders right now. Every single one of you next semester sometime, and I'm probably going to do it during our junior guidance meeting, you have to take one section of the Terra Nova, and it's your U.S. history. Everybody has to take U.S. history, and you could get up to 5 points on that. So that number is going to go even higher. Now, those of you that transferred in or did homeschool, I'm going to reevaluate your numbers because I know your number isn't what it says. Even if I don't look at your numbers, they say you need less than 18 because you weren't here to get 18. So I work on that. So like Levi, what did you do for school before you came here? Like 9th grade? Were you here then or?
I was part-time in 9th grade.
You were part-time in 9th grade?
Yeah, I only took 2 classes.
Okay, so technically you were considered homeschool that year. Okay, so that's normally like your English and your algebra that year. And some of you asked, what does ELA stand for? English Language Arts. Okay. When you were in 9th grade, that was the joyous year that school canceled abruptly on March the 13th. Remember that? Well, we normally give the test in the spring. You didn't take the test that year. So State of Ohio said they would allow you to use your report card grade that year. So actually, for a lot of you, that was to your advantage. You got to use your report card grade that year. So whatever your average, even though we don't do final average, whatever your final average was for ELA 1, that was your English class. And also, if you were in Algebra 1 that year, whatever your report card, your semester grade average together, whatever that was, that became your points. So, and I wrote RCG, report card grade, on there. So you knew that's where it came from. Otherwise, it came from either the Iowa or the Terra Nova. Okay. So, but I thought, well, you guys have that. So from what I'm looking at, it's good news for most everybody. I think it's good news for everybody. Honestly, I do have to change the number, but just transferring in, you have other credits, other numbers get on there. Yes.
I don't have anything for 9th grade.
You have no 9th grade classes. Okay, now tell me this. Was it last year you homeschooled, but 9th grade you were here? I'll get all of those on tomorrow. Okay. Ask me tomorrow to get an updated version. Okay. Anybody else? Questions on that? Okay, let's go to this then. Okay, here's some things. I did already, if you guys happen to read your email last period, you already know I sent a note to your parents, so they get a copy of this also. They didn't get a copy of your test scores yet. They don't have that, only you have that. But on this paper, they have this. Number 1, ACT. If you want to take the ACT next Friday, no, is it next Friday or this Friday? Oh, no. When did I say the deadline is? November the 5th. So you guys have another couple weeks to sign up for it. What I didn't write down, but I did put it in your parents' email, where you go to sign up is actstudent.org. actstudent.org. That's where you're going to sign up for the ACT. And if you're going to take it before the March one, which is free, in March it's free. Before March, if you want to take it, it's $60, but the March one's going to be free. PSAT, I normally get this, yes.
We have to sign up for the March one, or we like?
The March one, technically, I sign you up for. Yeah, I sign the whole class up together for that one. The PSAT, you already took that. I like the room down there where we used it. We're gonna use that for the ACT also in March. Our December meeting date is December the 15th. If I have the test scores back before then, I will pass them out, okay? We had talked about the test points. YSU is going to be here for the senior guidance meeting, but if any of you would like to be present for the college rep, I'm inviting you to come to it. You just let me know so I know who to count on for that day. He'll be here. What did I put the date there? November the 3rd. So first Wednesday of the month, he's going to be here. And then the next time we meet is going to be on November the 17th. Here's one thing. I have, and I do not know whether it's going to be, he's going to show up or not tomorrow. There is one college person that I can remember him sending me an email saying, how about October 21st? When really I wanted him to come October the 20th, which is today. I don't know if he's going to show up tomorrow. If he does, I'm going to real quick try, because I need to know what you've all met with a college person, 2 of them during the school year. I just don't know if he's going to show up or not. And I can't even remember if it's Mount Vernon or what school it is. If you get a last minute thing saying all juniors report here or something, we'll do that. Tomorrow, is it supposed to be chemistry lab?
I
don't think
She hasn't been here all week.
She hasn't been?
Levi, Air Pistol?
Oh, I should call it. She's been out sick, do you guys know, or? Okay, because I was just wondering if it was her dad or something. Okay.
That's good.
Okay, so I'll give her a phone call, see how she's doing there. Okay, prom committees, on your back side there. I know Anna took time last time, well, your junior class meeting. She took time and listed all the committees on the board. I don't know if I have them totally correct. Hopefully I do. If not, I'll go through and change them. The music committee already met, and within the next 2 weeks, I want to meet with every committee. So it's going to be your job as a committee. You're going to get together. I have a form that you guys are going to fill in, 1 per committee. Look at which committees you're on. You're going to come up with a spokesperson for your committee. They're going to be the chairperson of those committees. And a lot of times if I need to say just something quick, I'll go to that chairperson just to see how it's going and everything. But those are your committees. Music committee, they have their first task for you guys. So Gio, you want to talk about it?
I mean, I have the, I'm gonna pass out the.
Yeah, come on up and.
Music suggestions, you could just like say your name and then list your songs that we think should be on that. I have a question.
Yeah.
As soon as you try to choose and say you have this availability.
Yeah. Pardon? Yeah. So it's like find out. Okay. Activity periods or lunches work for me normally. Okay, the paper that Gio's passing out over the last, I can't tell you how many years because the music committee looked at the note. They have some really oldies, they have some new ones, they have line dance, they have all these kinds of different genres and stuff. But this is your time to say, these are 3 songs or 2 songs I would really like played at the prom and you think they're appropriate for prom, okay? They will go through a filter cycle. If they're appropriate, they're going to get added to the list. And if there's like 7 of you that they all say the same song, I'm thinking, and it's approved, I'm thinking the music committee is probably going to pick it as part of their playlist. I don't know. Yeah, you can have that. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
You said the time.
the first time should be
Put this on. Yeah, you can do those ones. I can even do that one. Yeah. Yeah. We figure there's 18 of you or so, and if each of you have, some of them's going to be duplicates, but they're going to have several songs to go on. And
Are you actually writing that? Gio, we gotta write that. We gotta write that. What? We gotta write that. I'll write it.
Hey, I'm writing the other.
All right.
It's like MACHARINA.
oh, the Macarena.
You want them back to me like today?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if that one made the list yet or not. Gio, do you know if it made the list or not?
It's approved.
It's on the approved list, so you'll get to see. But have it on there so they know you like it though.
No, actually. Mr. The other part is
One.
You like my list?
Are you doing a song that will be approved there? Okay. Yeah, when you get him, give him to Gio. I know he was. No. Okay, guys, and then another thing you can do right now, if all your committee people are here, you can see if there a time that you all don't have another responsibility, activity period, or lunch, and you can get with me.
Well, I guess.
Sophia's jumping the menu.
Hey, Gio. I should put head shears, me, you, Q. I don't know if only put one song.
I don't know what songs. So what do you mean by publicity? Like,
There's one that's actually the design creation.
yeah, I'm in both. I'm in the design one and then
This is gonna be the fun one right there.
yeah.
This is the one I really want to do.
Yeah.
When you guys have the meeting, you're gonna see why. I don't know why you're in those, but you are. Did you, which ones did you sign up for? That's why. You didn't turn the paper in, so they picked committees for you. I know you're probably in this one at my request.
What is it?
It's something I'm gonna probably ask for you to use your musical instruments for. It's gonna be me, because there's 8 boys in your group that's in the band. It's actually gonna be a very fun one. I can see you guys really having a good time with it. I can't wait to meet with you. I mean, it's gonna be, I think that one's gonna be neat if you guys embrace the one idea I have. because you have to do it, so it's like. Does anybody have any questions for me?
That's automatically. What did you know that? No. I mean, you can put notes on there.
What about dark horse?
Okay, now,
Living on a prayer.
Someone who's one of my friends or
Live
something.
you. Chaperone living on a prayer. Chaperone is gonna be amazing.
Oh, yes.
hey, guys, whistle. May I ask one more thing? Is if your committee's here, if you guys could talk amongst yourselves and tell me who you would pick as your chairperson, that could help too. Because they're gonna get this note if you know who your chairperson's gonna be.
That would be so good. That's a real title. That is a real title of a real show.
Oh, Gio, and what's coming in? Do you need a musician with any of them?
You gotta make sure.
Yeah.
I know, I saw that. That's actually, right, like, that's awesome.
All right, come here, Daniel.
5'7".
Oh, I was gonna guess 5'7".
Okay. But I'm getting old, so I might be 5'6" now. Who knows? You shrink when you get old. Anna, we missed you yesterday. Were you out sick? Are you feeling okay today?
Oh, I remember those. That was Aiden's jam right there.
It's on a Friday. If we can't get in Thursday night.
Gio, literally, I mean, that was Aiden. So, literally, smokers,
Last time I did it, it's finished up maybe, maybe finished up a half hour early, so when dismissal was at 12:09. If they finished at 11. But then there's some that you do beforehand. And I think one thing would be right up your alley. Is that building something little where you got money for the supplies? Or it means Okay, Gio, do you have all your papers?
I have them all.
Okay. Bell doesn't ring for like about 3 minutes. Yeah. Yes. And yours will be sort of short. Yeah. One thing though, what you pick, technically, this one committee, this committee here. See how I use that? We have to come up with a card and then have it all part of everything. And then technically we're all in this committee. This is called the right? That's the one I have on my computer. This is the one I saw a lot of people use, but you guys have to pick. Start looking on Red Web and stuff. When we have our meeting, I'll tell you what they've done. Because didn't you say USDNC print and stuff? 1 year they used, and I can see you guys using it, they used black letter envelopes, and they used that glittery paint or whatever. Yeah, but it's like a Sharpie marker, but it's gold. But they did the fancy letters to address it to like the teachers or whoever they invited. It was all, yeah.
That's the whole point.
Well, I have to go do Hey, guys, go ahead. I have to go to a meeting.
Look at it, I'll walk away with it.
Whoa.